So I just saw Dune and I'm here to give my review on it. I will start off the review with no spoilers, and then in the back half of the video I will give off spoilers. I will have timestamps for all that stuff, and with that all out of the way.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
So I went into this film knowing nothing about Dune at all. I heard it was a very popular book series where the first 3 books were good and the last 3 books were bad. That's what I heard. I also knew Star Wars took some inspiration from Dune as well. That's all I knew about Dune, so I didn't know anything about it, like what was the story and the character. I had no idea. I was going completely blind into Dune. I was expecting for the movie to explain everything and do some world building. It does explain some things, but you kind of need to do your research on the world of Dune before watching this movie, or else you're gonna get kind of confused, as I was, on many aspects of what is going on in the film. For me, I was confused at times, a good amount. I didn't understand what everyone's goal was, and I was confused about the world itself. So once the movie was over, I did my research on the world of Dune, which I do recommend, by the way, because it will help you understand Dune, the movie, and the story much better. And there are videos out there explaining the world of Dune that won't give you spoilers of the story itself. It will just help you understand the world a lot better and the different people in charge and all everyone's place in that society and world. With Dune, though, it is a movie, and a movie shouldn't expect you to know the world before seeing the movie. But this movie was made for the fans of Dune, not the newcomers like myself, so I understand from a certain extent. I have to say this movie is not boring at all. I don't get how some people were saying they were bored, but we all have our opinions, but I wasn't bored at all. I saw this movie in theaters, and the music was great along with the visuals and acting. The writing was excellent, and there was a lot of great dialogue and some really great quotes. I was never bored, not even once. I was confused at times, but I was never bored. I was also very interested in what was going on as well, and I felt like there was a lot of interesting things going on in the film, the things that I understood. It was very interesting. I found this movie to be pretty good, but if I read the book, I probably would have enjoyed the movie a lot more. I wish they did work on the world building a bit, because I have seen book-to-screen adaptations before, and they did great with the world building. Great example is Harry Potter. I saw the movies first, and I understood everything that was going on, and made me a fan of the world of Harry Potter. I mean, they did a good job in that movie series of explaining and fleshing out the world. And I wish Dune did the same thing, but this movie was obviously intended for the fans of the book. I probably would have liked part 1 a bit more if I knew what was going on and if certain scenes were fleshed out more. I felt like this was a high budget TV pilot in a way, not a movie, but I'd give this film a 77%, and I hope to see what happens next in part 2. Okay, now onto spoilers. So I'll start with this. The ending kind of felt empty for me. I get that this was basically 1/3 of a book from what I understood and what people were saying about the movie, but it just kind of ended. It makes rewatchability not that great if there's not a part 2. There's just so many questions left unanswered, like how is Duncan still alive and why is Chani so special? My other gut feeling is Gurney is still alive as well, but I'm not really sure. Also, I really like the family dynamic with Paul, Leto, and Jessica. I felt they all had great chemistry, and I just like seeing the dynamic they all shared. My favorite scene was when Paul and Jessica were in the tent, and Paul was freaking out, and he was having a very vulnerable moment along with his mom. I'm not sure if everyone felt like that was their favorite scene in the movie, but that stood out the most to me, and that's what kind of won the movie over for me personally. Like, I like this movie. I want to see what happens next. I like these characters. I do wish, though, they all grieved over his father a bit more. I felt like they were kind of like that happened, let's grieve a bit, then move on. I wish there was a bit more to that. If it was a bit sad to see Leto die because he was good in the movie and was very acted. His acting was very well. Like Oscar Isaac did a great job with the acting in this film. I also can't believe they got such a great cast for this film, because usually when you get a big cast like this with a bunch of well-known names, it sometimes doesn't work out, and actors for some reason end up being very stale with other big name actors. But everyone here was acting their souls out, and the direction was just great. And yeah, I mean, I just really liked the aesthetics of the film. That's what really stood out to me the most. I also am kind of confused on what makes Peter so special. Like, he was supposed to be a female, but since he was a male, it made him more special or something. Never really understood how he was able to be so special. Like, I do get his powers, but I just never understood, like, how did he become so special? Like, what happened that caused this to happen to him? And if it's just him being a male, why don't they make more males? I never really understood that. I do get his powers, like I said. He's able to see visions of the future and see certain things like messages, along with his voice power. I'm sure there's more to his power, though, that will be answered in sequels, if there ever are sequels. Hopefully there are. Also, is his unborn sibling going to be like him as well, or is it just going to be him that's special? That's my question. Like, there's just so many questions left unanswered that if this movie does not get a part 2, then the rewatchability would really go down for me. I feel like this would have made a better TV series than a movie, but that's just me. I want to say one last thing in the spoiler review, which was I loved how they used a lot of practical effects, and it looked like, to me, they actually filmed in the desert. And if they did, then great on them for using as much real effects as possible. I hate how everything is so overly CGI these days, but this film did not do that. This was a pretty good movie, and overall, I am glad I saw it. I might read the book now, so I'm not confused for the future sequels, if there are any, moving forward. And a concern I have doing that, though, is I don't want to be spoiled by the next movies, because I still want to be surprised. But I also found out there was a Sci-Fi Channel, something with the Sci-Fi Channel did something with Dune. I just found that out, and apparently there's a very old movie. Maybe I'll check them out, but I heard they were not so good. I just hope the next movies do a bit better job at explaining things for the world and what's going on.